Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Atlanta Business Radio, and this is going to be a good one. Today we have with us Steve Marshall with Foreground. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks, Lee, and I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I'm excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us a little bit about Foreground. How you serving folks?
Thanks, Lee. Foreground is a new umbrella company that's brought together some existing technology platforms that were leaders in each of their spaces in photography. There's the Shootproof set of brands that has a number of companies that's been serving photographers in recent years to help them run their business. And we've brought together the photographer side of the business with now the consumer side of the business with a company called Collage that helps consumers really memorialize their memories and preserve their memories on photo and print products.
So now, so you're serving both kind of the business side and the consumer side. You have a bunch of different services for anybody kind of in and around the photography ecosystem?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we're the first company at scale to put together both, a traditional SaaS platform for photographers where we help run their business. We help them from the point of which they first need to find customers, engage with customers, do their shoots for their events, whether it's wedding, portrait shoots, school shoots, and help them run their business all the way through delivering, either digital or physical print products to their customers around these events. So we have, a few brands that helps those photographers run their business, an educational platform called Coast Classroom, a SaaS platform called Shootproof, an e-commerce site just for photographers called Design at Glow. And what we've done is we put that under the Foreground brand name together with a scaled consumer platform called Collage. And why we really did that is we really saw that consumers have really moved towards taking digital photos outside of just their phone or their Google storage or any storage device, and really wanting to place those photos on products, whether it's around their homes, whether they're giving them as gifts. The difficulties of the last year of the pandemic really showed us that consumers were really interested in whether they were taking photos or whether they were working with professional photographers around important life events, that they wanted to do more with those photos than just stick them in a digital album. They wanted to preserve them in their homes and as gifts. So it was really something that we learned through the pandemic and was able to bring these companies together under one new brand called Foreground.
Now, is your effort to get more professional photographers into the mix? Is it to just make consumers aware of it, or both, a little of both? Is it a chicken and the egg thing, or are these kind of separate adventures all kind of under the Foreground banner?
Yeah, it's a great question, Lee. What we really see is while our e-commerce offerings for consumers under Collage and our SaaS offerings for photographers serve different customer bases, the technology and the learnings that we are taking provide us real ability to serve both. So, for example, we surveyed our photographers last year, and we did a pretty in-depth survey of photographers, and we found that almost 91% of them felt that consumers were coming to our platform and downloading their photos and going to other services such as Shutterfly, Minted, those types of things. And the photographers really have seen that consumers want to take their work, their artistic work for these important events, and put them on traditional products. So that's something from a technology standpoint. With Collage, we have a very scaled e-commerce platform. We get insights as to what types of products do consumers like to put photo products on. What type of personalization capabilities do they need on mobile to be able to take a photo and get it to a special product that they may want to give as a gift. So we can leverage both technology and learnings to bring that to our SaaS photography platforms for our photographers.
So your primary customer is a professional photographer, and then the consumers that come out of it are usually the clients of that professional photographer, or do you just target consumers and then lead them eventually to a professional photographer if they are so inclined to want to hire them?
Yeah, it's really our breadth runs the gamut of that. So we help our photographers find customers through our platform right now. So they run their business on our platform, but we also provide, let's say, marketing tools, email marketing tools, CRM tools to allow them to market to consumers that, let's say, went to a wedding and the photographer or the bride may have distributed the photos that were stored on our platform but branded for that photographer to other people that attended the wedding. Well, those people might become customers of that photographer. When they come to our site, they see the photographer's brand, they see the photos, they may hire them for business. So we help through the platform the photographers grow their customer base, and we really represent the photographers. We don't put our brand out there on the SaaS side. It's really the photographer's brand. They come onto our platform, they create the unique experience that they want their customers to see on their platform, how the site looks, how the site works, the types of products that are sold on there. So we're really behind the photographer, really supporting them to engage with the consumers. Some of the unique things we can do now that we're housing both the consumer and the photographer side is we can help bring customers to our photographers. As we understand consumer preferences in our e-commerce side of the business, we can educate consumers about what types of events photographers are really good at shooting. It's not just traditional weddings and events, but through the pandemic, photographers did Zoom call shoots. They did porch shoots. A lot of consumers really experienced that bringing in a professional photographer to memorialize some special moments. It didn't have to be a special event. It could be, hey, my family's together. We're going to come to the backyard and take some great portrait shoots of us. So we really see that photography itself is emerging as something, out of the pandemic that people rely on to kind of remind them of what's important in life, like what matters most. It's those memories, it's the connections you make to people. So we really see some synergistic capabilities for us to bring photographers and consumers closer together, whether that's just technology in some cases, but that may also be through engagement and bringing more consumers to our photographers, enabling our photographers to do more services for consumers outside of the traditional types of shoots they do now. So there's more ideas right now than we have people. We're interested. We're scaling the business fast. We're hiring people here in Atlanta and other places across the country. So it's a really exciting time for Foreground.
Now, why don't you educate the listener about photography as a business? Now, are there a lot of people that are professional photographers?
Yeah, great question. So if you look at our base of photographers and what we've learned about them, really about 50% of probably all photographers, let's say in the US, are part-time photographers. A lot of our what we call professional photographers are really prosumers. They're professionals, but they were consumers who became photographers because we have a large number of women who have had kids that become these kind of prosumer photographers. They learned about photography by being the mom with the camera for their family, maybe some friends and family, and really got into learning about photography and really got interested in, hey, this is a way for me to have a potentially a part-time career where I can bring in some income, but also do something that I love that I learned through maybe my kids or my family. So we see a large number, 50% of our photographers are part-time, and a large percentage of those are women that really came into the business after becoming their family's photographer. So it's really interesting. And then we have the tier of photographers, which are somewhat the larger studios, more than one photographer. But the majority, 90% or more of our photographers are single studio photographers. So they are really entrepreneurs running their own business. And it's a fast growing field. And really the reason why is because, on the professional side, camera technology has gotten cheaper for someone to get into become a professional photographer. But phones, of course, we all know the technology has really come a long way, and the ability to edit on your phone, upload photos, has really brought in a new crop of photographers that really started as consumers and got into photography and say, you know what, maybe this is not as hard as I thought. Maybe I didn't have to go to school to become a photographer. I could learn it along the way. And I think the democratization of photography has brought more photographers into the business.
Now, let's talk to that kind of prosumer person that's out there. Like you said, they were the one, hey, you take really good pictures. Hey, can you take my picture? Is their client, do they go from that to, I'm going to take a wedding, or I'm going to do a business person's headshot, or I'm going to take some photos for a business? Like, what is their mix of clients? Is it the person who wants them to take a picture of their dog, or is it an executive who wants professional headshots?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We really see the journey of photographers, if we're starting with what I was describing as, let's say the mom with the camera that may do just family shoots, or let's say they do a local sports team. They may go out and shoot that soccer team where their son or daughter may be on, and they decide to, hey, talk to the coach, can I shoot the team? And maybe I'll distribute the photos for free to those families. And what they'll start seeing is those families, hey, do you mind? I'll buy these from you. Could you come shoot my family? I really like these sports photos that you did. So these photographers at the early stage of their journey, we actually have an educational platform also called Closed Classroom, where we help bring them from being just the kind of the consumer that has some experience now to they want to do, like you described, a headshot, right? Which takes a little bit more education. They have to get better with a camera, lighting, editing. So we do see these photographers move through different genres of photography. They may start with, let's say, a pet shoot or a family shoot and progress into more professional headshots, then into maybe sports events, graduation, and then to weddings. Obviously, when you get photographers doing weddings, those are more nerve-wracking for newer photographers. So they want the experience under the belt. They wanted to go through some more education, not just necessarily about using their camera and lighting, but also running a business. Now you're dealing with a client with more expectations. They want to be able to get other products other than just the digital. So you have to be able to offer them, whether it's albums or canvases or those types of things, as a full service. And those are the types of things we do on our platform, on the ShootProof platform, is allow that kind of photographer, as they're going through the journey, not have to worry about learning how to do all those things. They can do it all in one place on our ShootProof platform, and we can help take them through the journey through some of our educational services.
Now, is some of the educational services, is it kind of go at your, like asynchronous, like go at your own pace? Here's some courses on how to do wedding photography, or here's some courses on how to do, team sports, active, action shots. Is it things like that I learn on my own, or do you have like, hey, on Tuesday at 10, we have a famous photographer that's going to give a talk on how to do, weddings or something?
Yeah, it's another great question. It's really a little bit of both, depending on where the photographer is in their journey. Early on, early stage photographers, we offer educational services where they can go step by step. Hey, how do I use a camera? How do I use, manual focus? How do I understand lighting? So we offer educational services that will step them through the early part of the journey. As photographers get more experience and more mature, there's very specific and pointed education they want. Hey, how do I generate leads? So we may, instead of doing those types of that type of education as, let's say, classes, we may do those as webinars. We may we do a lot of blogging by photographers on our platform as free education for our subscribers, our photographer subscribers, so they can learn and expand their businesses. Because in our platform, we see a lot of photographers that may start it as one genre, family, wedding, portrait, and move into another through education. So it's helpful for us to be able to provide some free content also within our platform for them to learn some of these specialized areas of photography, especially as it has to do with working with customers, growing your customer base, getting into, we have a CRM platform called Tave that's part of the Shootproof brand. And once you get into, you're doing, more than, let's say, one shoot every couple of weeks, you're doing multiple shoots, maybe on the weekends, it's weddings. You have to be able to engage multiple customers. You want to get into doing contracts and invoices. We allow the photographers on our platform to collect payments electronically. So the more customers you deal with, the more productivity tools you need at your fingertips. So that's also part of what we try to provide to these photographers. So, to answer your first question, we do both from an education. Some of it is pointed. We have mentors in our educational platform that can just answer questions. So we have photographers in our educational platform that may just reach out and say, I just have a question about this part of my business. Can you help me? And our mentors are there, whether it's our Facebook group or within our educational platform to help our photographers with their questions.
And it sounds like you really help the photographer at any stage they are in their career, whether they're just starting out or about to make the leap into kind of making it a business, to the veteran that just might need some help in a difficult or an unusual situation for themselves.
Yes, it's important for us to be able to do that because we learn so much as photographers go through their journey in our platform. So, we can learn from those, higher end studios that do multiple shoots, do, portrait weddings, boudoir, any genre of photography. We can take our learnings from them as they use our platform and try to help bring other photographers along in their journey. What type of education will be helpful? We have the opportunity we survey and interview photographers basically year round. So we have a user experience research group that spends a lot of time with our subscribers, basically asking them questions about their business, how they run it, even pieces that go outside of our platform themselves. How do they deal with customers? What do customers want? So it's important for us to help the earlier stage photographers by having these more seasoned photographers in our platform. So we really have to serve both, and we enjoy it. We learn a lot from it.
And it gives kind of that, it helps everybody when you do that. It helps kind of the veteran teach people and make them, have a legacy and to share their knowledge. And the new person can learn and accelerate their learning and maybe kind of smooth out their learning curve. So I think it's you're creating a whole ecosystem that's serving the whole, the whole environment, not just kind of, the super nerdy guy or woman that wants to just be the best photographer. You're really helping everybody kind of grow at wherever they need to be.
Exactly. And, all of our photographers, regardless of whether they came through, let's say they went through art school and they came the professional route, or if they came, as we talked about, through the kind of prosumer route, what we see is all of them, they love art or they love photography. They love what they do. And this is why, I really enjoy this business, is we're helping these entrepreneurs really grow a business they love, not just that they're doing because they have to, they're not working for corporate America. They're not working in a job, a 9-to-5 job. This is a career they chose because they love photography, or they love working with people and providing these memories. So they are also very giving people. So what I've learned about photographers is they want to share their experience. They want to bring other, artists up to speed. They take a lot of pride in helping others. So that's a really unique thing, and important for us to be able to help bring photographers along, because they want to grow better photographers in general in the U.S. and on our platform.
So now, if there's somebody out there that wants to learn more, what's the website?
Yeah, well, they can start out at foreground.co, and that's our umbrella company. And from there, they can check out our SaaS photography platform at shootproof.com, our educational platform at colesclassroom.com. We have our consumer brand where consumers can become the creators themselves of photos that they curate on collage.com. We have a branded, kind of curated storefront for photographer products only at Design Aglow. And then our CRM system for, these businesses, photographer businesses are growing where they need to run their business more sophisticated. We have tave.com. But all of this is accessible through foreground.co. And everyone can kind of learn about the individual brands and where we're going with photography.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations on all the success. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Well, thanks so much, Lee, for having me on, and I enjoyed talking about Foreground today.
All right. This is Lee Cantor. We'll see you next time on Atlanta Business Radio.
Today's episode of Atlanta Business Radio is brought to you by OnPay, Atlanta's new standard in payroll. To learn more and get your first month free, go to onpay.com.